Ever since 1926, when Rolex created their Oyster case, the first water-resistant watch, water resistance has been a concept that many watch enthusiasts take a really close look at before they're buying a watch. This freedom of having the ability to jump into the water is a great feature that adds to the versatility of a watch. However, this term water resistance is incredibly misleading, and I'm sure some of you might actually be damaging your watch without even knowing it. What is going on, everybody? My name is Teddy Baldassarre, and in this video, we are going to be discussing water resistance. What is the truth behind it? And taking a look at 4 key parts of this specific concept. First, we're going to look at what is water resistance, the key terms to know, how water resistance is tested, and then going through one by one, what are the different water resistance ratings and their meaning behind them. In other words, what does 30 meters, 50 meters, 100 meters, etc. of water resistance mean? And before we jump into this video, I just want to thank all of you for not only 10,000 subscribers, but 11,000 subscribers. We have grown really fast in the last couple of weeks, and I just want to provide some updates in terms of the giveaway. So please stick around until the end of the video. I will be saying kind of next steps there. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. So first off, we have to determine what is water resistance. So water resistance is the mark stamp on a watch that indicates how much water pressure a watch can withstand. The tested pressure of a watch can be indicated either directly in the units of pressure, such as a bar, an atmosphere, or most commonly the depth in meters. I'm sure that you've often seen marks or notes saying the watch is 30 meters or 50 meters water resistance on the dial. I will get to why those classifications might not mean what they insinuate on the surface in a little bit. First, to understand why, we need to look at the different tests that are conducted to determine water resistance. The standard for watch water resistance is conducted by an organization called the International Organization for Standardization, aka ISO. They have 2 primary tests, their ISO 2281 water resistance rating standard and their ISO 6425 diver's watches standard. However, let's first start with the ISO 2281 standard test. This is the primary issued standard for water resistance in watches and also prohibits the term waterproof to be used when measuring the water resistance of watches. The use of this word has been banned in appearing on watches since the truth is no watch is waterproof. There's always a limit to how much water pressure a watch can handle. The term waterproof implies that a watch can't leak under any circumstance, which we all know is untrue. This standard was introduced in 1990, but was updated in 2010 and was only designed for watches intended for ordinary daily use. Tests for these watches include water resistance, temperature, condensation testing, and pressure testing. This testing might sound intensive, but is relatively straightforward compared to the diver ISO testing. This testing does not include magnetic or shock resistant testing, negative pressure test, strap attachment test, or any corrosion test. In addition, the testing does not require that every watch of a line is tested by the manufacturer. Instead, a sample size of the watches are tested at the appropriate depth rating. Now moving on to the more strenuous tests, the ISO 6425 diver's mark. So many of you have probably seen somebody say that watch is ISO certified, or you've seen the diver's watch stamp on the dial of a watch. As an example, the Seiko SKX is a popular and affordable watch that is in line with this standard. An important note to make is that many watches, even with the 200 meters water resistant rating, do not even pass this ISO diver standard. This test is not essentially an easy one to pass, and I won't go through all the tests that the watch undergoes. I will link to a couple resources that provide more information on the testing below, but just to give you a sense, each watch is tested with 125% of the rated water pressure. Thus, a watch with a 200 meter water resistance rating will be tested at 250 meters in a stationary static water. And that is just a start. The watch will also undergo being submerged for 50 hours straight underwater to test its seals. It is corrosion tested, shock and magnetic tested, has to reach a certain luminosity and visibility standard, and even has to pass a test of the bracelet by attaching 45-pound weights to each spring bar attachment and to ensure the ability that it can withstand any obstacles a diver might face underwater. One last important note is that a lot of divers from this standard have moved away from quartz movements. Most of these are going to be automatic mechanical movements because the worst thing that you can happen as a diver that are down at the bottom of the sea or the ocean is for your watch to stop working. Say a battery runs out of juice. So now that we know the 2 standards for these tests, Let's take a look at what do all of these ratings specifically mean and what can you do with them. The first one we have to address is the most controversial one, the 30 meters water resistant mark. Most would assume that 30 meters or 3 atmospheres of water resistant rating would be okay to swim with. However, this rating only constitutes being splash or rain resistance. So this is not going to be a watch that you want to swim with, and is probably one of the most misinterpreted concepts when it comes to watches. Next, we have the 50 meters water resistance rating. This is a watch suitable for light swimming, like jumping into the pool or doing light water activities. However, this is not a watch that will be viable for diving or snorkeling. Now we have the 100 meters water resistant rating. This is when a watch will be suitable for recreational surfing, swimming, snorkeling, sailing, and other water sports. However, we're still not at the point where we should be diving with it yet. Now we have the 200 meters water resistance rating. This is suitable for professional and marine activity, serious surface water sports, and skin diving. However, like mentioned earlier, this is not technically a certified diver watch. So for those diver mark watches, there are a few different standards underneath this classification. So what you might see in a little bit of some older divers are the diver's rating of 100 or 150 meters. This is a diver watch standard. However, now for most contemporary divers, we're going to be seeing a certified rating of 200 meters or 300 meters. These are going to be suitable for scuba diving at the depths described on the dial and on the case back, and are standard ISO certified divers. However, there are different levels to this, and because they're not very consumer grade, I won't go into a lot of detail about divers for saturation diving, as it's something that I think most of us will never wear because we are not divers. I'm speaking to myself here. But if you guys do want to check out some more information about this, I will leave some references down below that you can take a look at. So as you would probably guess, this is a slightly controversial issue, especially that 30 meters water resistance rating. On the surface, you'd probably expect that to be totally viable to go in the pool with or jump in the water with. However, that's not the case. So I'll leave you with this. What do you guys think of this? And also, what is your favorite diver's watch? Leave comments down below. I'd love to see it. And before we go and give the update of the giveaway, first guys, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. Also hit the bell icon so you know when I release content. So now for our update. We are now well past 10,000 subscribers, and we did that pretty quickly, so thank you guys again for that. So my thought on this, guys, was I was thinking about maybe doing a Q&A. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that, and then partnering that that'd be the first half. The second half of the video would be the giveaway. So I have a lot of submissions to go through. I'm gonna try to go through, break it down to a smaller batch, and then randomize it. And then once we get down to our final 6 or 7, I'll do it on camera. I'll pull out of a hat the people that have been selected, and I'll match you up with one of the watches. Stay tuned for that. And if you like the Q&A idea, leave comments down below. What questions would you have? I think part of me wants to just at least kind of tell a little bit more about myself, because I'm just, for right now, this Teddy, the guy that talks about watches to you guys in a camera. Love for it to be more of a relationship than that. So if you guys like that idea, leave those questions down below as well. I can take a look at that, and those can be things that I answer right prior to the giveaway. All right, guys, well, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, be well, and I will see you all very soon.